Welcome to the Sister Street Show with Mary Nunley and Sharon and I, interactive show and virtual playground where we explore topics around entrepreneurship, online and in-person events, and the games that can be played with all of it. We invite you on our journey of sisterhood discovery and trial and error in the adventures of online entrepreneurship.
All right. Aloha and welcome back, everyone, to the Sister Street Show with your street sisters, Sharon and
Mary Nunley. Hello and welcome.
Yes. So we are back talking about the customer journey. We're going to be taking you, our listeners, on a journey as we go now into how are you building more quality, equity, all of that momentum in your business, all the chutzpah, right, Mary?
I love it. I love it.
And today we wanted to talk to you about the customer journey. Now, this comes back to what we said in our previous episodes about the scalable business. How do you build your business so that it's able to build investment value, possibly be able to be sold, but basically, how do you build automatic profits into your business? And one of the first steps is that customer journey. Remember, level 1 is get 10 customers. Level 2 is upgrade your operating system, making sure that you have a growth flywheel. So when you're doing that, the growth flywheel is, how do you know where your profits are coming from? Do you have it written down? Is this something that you can hand as a piece of paper to your partner and say, hey, Mary, this is where my customers come from and this is when they buy? If you don't, then that is the time that you need to double down on your growth flywheel. See, most entrepreneurs, we do a bunch of things and we throw a lot of spaghetti on the wall and we see what sticks. And then we may look back last year and say, oh, that was a good year. But did we diagnose why we had a good year? Mary, what is that journey for you?
So for me, that journey is spending time actually going through my books and looking at where the money came in, where the money came out, but then also talking to my clients to see what worked, what didn't work. Would you work with us again? If not, why not? If yes, great. How can we improve our service to you? What about you?
Excellent. Yes. So that is definitely an element, is the diagnostics, looking back at what your journey with the customers has been in the past. What I also love to do is to create an ideal customer track, right? So your journey should be a plan. And I like to start with the 10. What is that perfect customer experience that I want? And then as we were taught in the scalable system, I like to put that number 10 as a number 5. That should be the baseline of what we want as we build our business.
I like that. I like that. We're actually working on something similar to help our potential customers map out their own journey with us, where they can go on a virtual tour and pick and choose elements that they would like in their courses to learn what those elements cost, what it involves, and how to build a course, and then also how to plan and budget for a course so that they get the type of course that they would like to deliver to their audiences. So it's really cool.
I love that. And that's a great analogy, right? So when you're building a plan or a customer journey, it's like you're building what you'd love to create, right, with your course. If you're an author, it's that outline, like, what is this story going to be from start to finish? And so as you plan your customer journeys, consider, how would I love to find them? Is it through referrals? Is it through advertising? Is it through, networking? Is it through whatever it is? And then what is the steps on that journey? So first we have a sales call meeting, then they sign the contract, then we go into their business and I spend 2 days on site. But go through in your mind or look back at your previous customers, look at which ones were the best and map out what that experience was and what made it so successful.
I like it. And it really helps to start thinking about that and looking at your process, because as you're thinking about the customer journey, what I suggest in tandem, and this is where we're still struggling and trying to get our act together. So this is do as I say, not as I do kind of advice. But as you're mapping out that journey, kind of also map it to what does that mean on your end? So what does that sales call look like? What documentation do you need to have ready? What questions do you need to ask the potential client? As you go to the contract stage, what are the changes you need to make? Is it a boilerplate contract that you just change somebody's name, or is every contract custom? And so you have to have multiple variations. So that way, as you're building that customer journey, you're also not stumbling and the customer is getting that best experience.
I love that. Yes. So once you have that plan, then go back and look at the plan and see like, where are the pitfalls? Where is the time that I need to really shine? And then, as Mary said, ask yourself those questions and plan even deeper to level 2 planning on how to make it successful. Now, for those starting entrepreneurs, Mary, you and I have talked about this concept before, but for their customer journey, if they don't even know because they've never had a customer before, how would they plan out what they want to do?
So one way that you can approach it is, if I was going to buy something for myself, what would I want? What would I expect it to be? What would that look like? What would that feel like? What do I need to complete the sale? Or to at least get the person to come back and visit again. So I use retail as an example. I might go to a store with like, I need to buy a dress. And I look, but they don't have the dress I'm looking for. That doesn't mean I'm never going back to that store again. It just means that they didn't have what I needed. So don't get disappointed, but think about that. If I was to buy from myself, what would I expect? What would I need?
Beautiful. So yeah, make that list, know what you need. And then if you do have customers, what we teach in Scalable is that as you're going along the customer journey, there's different phases or stages. One of the tools that is suggested is that you talk to your team. It's not just your customer journey, right? It is your team's customer journey. And as Mary mentioned earlier, it's also your customer's customer journey. So ask them what was the best part of their experience, or what would their ideal experience have been. Surveys are also a great tool. And once you've gotten some of that feedback, you start to narrow it down so you know exactly where the decisions happened and the profit happens. And so the stages are awareness. Do they even know that you're there, that you're offering what you offer? Excitement. Have you excited them into your product and service and your brand and company? Then convert. So then once they're excited about what you have to offer, that's the closing. What makes them convert? Is it a webinar? Is it the sales call? Is it a shaking of the hands? What makes them convert? And then ascend. So once they have become a one-time customer, how do you make them a client? By offering them all the other products and services that you have to offer. And then after ascend is lifelong fans, or to continue and build loyalty. So how do you now have them become advocates is the word. So those are the different steps. And then what you do is, once you write down all the activity in those different phases, you have to create decision diamonds or decision points. So where are the points where your customer could say yes or no? Do they say yes or no to signing up for that webinar? Do they say yes or no when they show up for the webinar? Do they say yes or no when they actually click the sales page button that you drop at the end of your webinar? So all of these points are decision points, and you have to know, where does your customer fall off and where does the bulk of your efforts need to be? Because either if you're getting too many no's, then you have to change that point. Or if you're getting a lot of yeses, then you could up level that point. So that's some of the framework of building a journey out, that you start to see that you can create this growth flywheel and you can accelerate that wheel once you know what's actually going on. Mary,
I like that. Now, I was just thinking that perhaps we should do another bonus episode like we did for the vision boards, where we demonstrate how to develop it and get out the whiteboard and showcase how to do that. Because I'm sure people like myself, who the first time you experience this are like, what the heck am I supposed to do? Where do I begin? So if I was confused the first time I went through this activity, I'm sure that some of our audience might be as well. And it might be a fun exercise for us to kind of bounce ideas off of each other as well.
Yep, I love it. And I will say it is a process that is iterative, right? It continues to grow and expand. And the more experience you have at trying to build your customer journey out, the more sometimes complex it can become. So yes, I'd love to do a bonus episode with you, Mary. And as you guys are starting out, come back to this episode and rewatch and just listen to the simple examples of try to build an outline. You're like you're writing a book, or just start to ask your customers and see, okay, where did I, what were the steps, simple steps, and starting with those, then you'll start to look deeper and see what's working, what's not working. And then the bonus episode that comes in will just add flavor, add some questions that you may not have thought of, and then really start to hone in on your secret formula.
I like it. And again, I love where you said it's an iterative process, because as you offer more products, as you offer more services, that journey might change, or how you reach out to your potential customers or existing customers will also change as you add more opportunities for them to interact with you.
Exactly. Yes. That's a really great point as well, because if you guys are building your flywheels out, building your customer journeys out, really start with one core product. And especially if you're a brand new entrepreneur, you should be, and when we say brand new, we're thinking between, 0 to 2 years, I would say, because that's really the time where a lot of people start to falter. And so really focus on one core product, because if you're a solopreneur or have a very small team, being able to be focused and get known for the one thing is part of what will help you gain momentum.
Yes, that's brilliant advice. So this has been fun. And again, customer journey is something that we often hear spoken of, but no one really talks us through how to create that journey ourselves. So this was very helpful for me as well, because there are things that you mentioned that I'm like, oh yeah, I got to go do that, or time to go get with the team and see how this part ties in. And we have our journey mapped out. But the other question is, do you share that journey with your customers, or is it strictly an internal document?
So different company brands are going to be different things. The world right now is all about radical transparency, right? So if you are that company, go ahead and share your customer journey. Zappos was famous for this because they not only shared all of their processes by publishing different things, plus having tours basically weekly of their facility plant where you could see every department in their business, but they also published their employee feedback every single year, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So they were all about their customer journey being completely transparent. If you are all about intellectual property rights and have a little bit more privacy and different technicalities, then you may want to keep it internal. Coca-Cola has made a global impact by keeping their secret recipes, right? And
True.
so whatever recipe, public or private, just make that decision, because that's a great point, Mary, is knowing that is a big piece of how you're starting to build your brand voice and identity. But then stick with it once you make those decisions.
I love it. I love it. And it is something though that as business owners, we do ask ourselves those questions, like how much of the behind the scenes do I want my clients to see?
Exactly.
And how much of the behind the scenes, like if they see the, frantic duck feet paddling under the water, does that change their view of me as a provider, or as or is it always like everything is perfect to the outside world?
Exactly. And my brand journey is a little bit of that, because I sell de-stress systems, right? So how does your system have less stress and more profits? Well, guess what? There's no business that has zero stress, right?
Right.
And so there's a level of transparency that I want to show that is some of the angst within, because we have to be authentic and we have to have integrity to say, well, I'm not going to be able to take all of your stress away, Mary, right? But by adding a system, by adding automations, you will have less stress, and you'll be able to stay in the eustress, or the positive stress zone, where if you're doing the stuff you love, still might be stressful to complete, but you love creating courses, right? So if that's all you had to do, you would still have work pressure, but it wouldn't be frustration stress, right?
Oh, that's a valid point too. Is like what kind of stress and what kind of pressure. And I'm just looking at myself, even though my lighting is correct technically. I look like I'm a ghost lady. So I am not truly a ghost lady. So I'm just feeling a little bit ghostly as we talk about this subject.
Out in the
I'm
ether.
trying to become transparent.
Yeah. So, I mean, so those are some good elements. The other thing about your customer journey, I don't want to forget, Mary, is that when we build out this plan, this outline, right, part of your journey planning should also include the top 3 issues that might occur. This is where you can create a more complete customer journey because you know where people might get confused. It's best, as we said, once you have more than 10 customers, then you kind of can ask them and do surveys and understand, okay, what was the biggest pain point, and get some of your loyal customers on the phone and say, okay, what concerns you about this? What's frustrating? Because then if you have an automatic process where when someone has a question, a challenge, or a failure, they know what to do. Do they email you? Do they call
Mhm.
you? Do they, do they write it on the website as their concern? How quickly is that responded to? If those are now written and part of your practices and your rules and your policies, you're going to be more successful because, again, those just distract and pull you out of your zone, out of the ideal customer journey. And then that 10 customer journey becomes that 5, right? But if
Right.
there's going to be natural stuff, so if you keep that 10 as a 7, then that 5 you're planning for is, what's going to happen when they have bigger issues. And then now you can create those surprise and delight moments where you are doing more than a 10. And those will come up more often as you continue to build more traction on your plan.
I love it. This is a really good session. And I think having that customer journey in mind is one of those foundational pieces that we all need if we plan to stay in business for any length of time.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So to summarize, guys, we want you to create a customer journey once you've started to build enough customers. If you don't have customers, we want you to idealize a plan, right? Just like an outline in a book. And then once you create that plan, start to question the plan. As Mary said, go into that outline and see, okay, what questions do I need to ask? What tools and resources do I need to have at each of these stages so that I'm prepared and ready for that customer? Consider that plan as your ideal plan for a 10, but know that that's going to come down to a 7 or a 5 as you have challenges, and plan for those challenges so that the customer knows what to do if they have a question or concern. And then focus on the stress that is the positive stress, not the negative stress, because every business has it. But if you
Mhm.
know what the plan is, it's going to keep you out of that frustration zone as well. And then we had one more point in there, Mary, about, I think, timeline or transparency. That's what it was.
Yes.
In your plan, decide how transparent you want your customer journey to be for the customers and how private it should be for that secret recipe sauce.
I love it. I love it. Such powerful information. And we would love to see your questions. And more importantly, if you feel like you can share some of your customer journey with us, we'd love to see that as well. So pop on by the Sister Street Show Facebook page, leave a comment here on the YouTube. If you're getting value from these episodes, please ask your friends to like and subscribe because we want to make this your show and we want to get the word out so that we can all thrive in these challenging times.
So good. All right. So everyone, we will see you back again on our next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for future videos.